Hey guys, it's Lindley here. It's been a little while since I have put a Wisteria Witches video up, and I thought it was about time. So this video, actually, this recording that you see of me right now is going to be an intro to the rest of this video, which was taken on October 22nd. And it was kind of like a walkthrough slash paranormal investigation held by the Historical Society of the town that I live in here in Wellston. And it was the original house of our town's founder, Harvey Wells. The house has been under renovation for a period of time, and there's a lot of lore and stories and stuff like that that goes on with the house and the founder. He actually committed suicide on, sorry. He committed suicide by jumping out of the window of the house. And growing up, we always heard stories that he hung himself out of the window, that he just leapt out of the window, that he was driven crazy by a math problem because he was a genius. He was a mathematician. He actually designed this town to be one of, I think it's in the Guinness Book of World Records as like the easiest town to get around in because everything is made in kind of like a grid. And all of the streets go by names of the states alphabetically one way, and then the other go by letters and numbers, like A Street, B Street, C Street. So it is pretty easy that way, and that's just like in town. Once you get kind of more out of town, the roads aren't quite like that. They're a little more country-ish kind of roads. But anyway, I've always wanted to go into this house, and pretty much my whole life it's always been in ruins, and I've always been kind of scared to go in it because it was in such bad shape. Now, it was built, I want to say in 1880 something. Actually, my recording of the house, in the very beginning, you'll see there's a big sign that kind of gives you a little bit of the history and actually tells you those dates. I want to say 1883, but I'm not sure, so you'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, another interesting fact about this was recorded on October 22nd, 2013, and it was actually the anniversary of his death. Now, he leapt out of the window, and it's very debatable on what window it is. I have a very strong intuitive feeling as to what window I believe it was. It was on the second story. And you'll see towards the end of the video when we actually toured inside of the house, which I will forewarn you, it is really dark and it's really hard to see. But there's plenty of recording before that where the president of the Historical Society is talking about the house, and also they had a couple come in that are a part of an organization called Haunted Hawking. Hawking is kind of like what this area around here that I live in is called. And so they have a website, which I'll link below, that has all kinds of really interesting investigation evidence and stuff about all the different places around here where I live that are presumed haunted. And so the man, which I do not recall his name, but he spoke pretty thoroughly about what they do and also about the Harvey Wells house, and then towards the end he actually talked about the equipment that they use. Although I didn't quite agree with everything he had to say, like concerning the pendulum. He was talking about how a pendulum works, and I didn't really agree with him on that, but aside from all of that, it was a very great presentation that he did, and other than there were just way too many people there to really get like any real good like evidence, I would say. Although my sister and I did have a feeling towards one of the fireplaces towards the end. I don't think I got any of that on video, but anyway, just wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory, although you'll hear this again in the video of them giving their presentation. Also, something that they did not mention, which I really wish they would have because I think it's really pertinent to the presence of spiritual activity in this home is that after it was no longer a home for like family, there was the Wells that lived there. Harvey Wells was his name, and he was married to a woman named Eliza Bundy. And after he passed away, she lived in the house. I believe she got remarried. And then eventually another family owned the house, and their last name was Kessler. And we still have some Kesslers around in this area. And they actually had a couple of the descendants of that family were there. So that was kind of cool to have them point themselves out and everything. But after that, it was a nursing home, and my mom actually worked there for a period of time as a nurse when she was very young. I think even before I was born, or I may have been a baby. But she always said that there was like this weird creepiness about the place, and there's been many people that have worked there that have all claimed to have witnessed and encountered different kinds of spiritual phenomena. So anyway, without further ado, I will now let you watch the rest of the video. Granted, I'm going to let you know that the presentation part was pretty long, and I had a couple of times, because I was recording from my phone, so a couple of times I got calls through my phone, so I had to stop recording a couple of times. But anyway, you'll get the gist. You'll get, the idea of everything. And then after that, I recorded us going through the second story of the house, which you can only go through so much of it because, like I said, it's under renovation. They had insulation and electricity, but it still needs drywall. And it was very limited into what we were allowed to go into. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween, Samhain, whatever you celebrate. And I will talk to everybody soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. Everyone's attention. I won't allow you to start eating if you want to. If anyone wants to get some whole pork sandwiches or hot dogs, side dishes and things. I'm the president of the Historical Association, and we have a lot of our members here that have helped set this up tonight. This is the first. This is one of the first big nights that we've had an event like this, which is centered around ghost hunting and some of the mysterious aspects of Harvey Wells' life and this house's life. The house doesn't look really finished to you, but we're actually really close to having a breakthrough with having the building open to the public. When you go inside the house tonight, you're going to see that we're doing some major construction in the big room, we call it, the parlor, the north parlor. And in that room, we're going to be able to have public meetings with projector screens. I'm asking the city council to have meetings there, other community groups, and that room's going to be really versatile. We have restrooms and a kitchenette area already finished in the back. Then upstairs, and in the other meeting room, which is inside this wall, we're going to have spaces that are dedicated to museum space to try to exhibit, items about Wellston's history, but also about Harvey Wells' history and what did the house look like when Harvey Wells lived here. There was also a family after Harvey Wells lived in the house. They were the Kessler family. And we have one of the Kessler descendants here tonight. Cindy, are you here?
Actually, you have more than that.
Are you really? Great. Yeah, so we have a couple of the families represented here tonight. One of the things that we discovered when we set up the event, it's purely coincidental. I'm probably stealing the haunted talking speaking point, but we didn't know this, but Harvey Wells passed away on this date in October 22nd, 1896. So that kind of creeped the three of us out when we realized that.
That's not creepy in the least.
Yeah, kind of gives me the chills thinking about it. But, so without further ado, you ask me any questions you want about the history, but tonight's about haunted hockey and about some of the things they do, and it's really fascinating. They were down at the Wellston Library, and I got to enjoy it down there also. So here they are, Pat Quackenbush and Jeanette Quackenbush.
Hey, wherever she is. Hey, guys. I met a lot of you the other night. How many did come to Wellston the other to the library the other night? Yeah, quite a few. Oh, so we got a lot of new faces here, too. Well, my name's Pat Quackenbush, and I think, Jeanette, did you leave? She's in the house. Welcome tonight. We are very excited about this, because I don't know, are we the first group to come into the Harvey Wells house and set up some equipment like this, do you know?
We had some hunters in there about 8 years ago.
About 8 years ago, okay. Fantastic. But what we love to do at Haunted Hawking, one of the big things that we love to do is we love to go ghost hunting with you guys and show you how to do it. That's what we're all about. And that's what we're going to do tonight. It's fun, and I don't want to say anything bad. It's fun to do the library and all that, but this is awesome when we can come up here and set up, and you guys get to actually go through and try it out yourself. So we're very excited about it. Jeanette and I have been doing this for just about 16 years now. We have traveled to almost, we tried to count it up. We had a reporter ask us this year, first time a reporter ever asked us this. And we're saying 500 plus haunted locations across Ohio, well, basically the eastern U.S., and just a foothold over the Mississippi ones. But yeah, we've gone to many places. Some of them very haunted, some of them less so. We have high hopes for the Harvey house here tonight because it does have all the elements that we look for when we're going to a paranormal location that might be haunted. It has an awesome background. The Wells house, as he mentioned, built in 1883. And is this like the picture of the founder of Wellston where he would live, right? Yeah. Top of the hill, overlooking the town, down in there. But a little bit of history about your own town. Maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't. But Wellston, like much of southeastern Ohio, the settlers arrived here and initially tried to farm these hills, right? And anybody who's ever tried to farm or even plant a garden around here knows it's not easy, is it? Yeah, it's not easy around here. They found a little better land for doing that when they went west a little more to western Ohio, right? All that flat country over there. But one of the things they discovered in this area was the fantastic mineral resources that were all around them. Things like iron, coal, clay, saltpeter. We talked about this the other night, which is the key ingredient to what? Gunpowder. Gunpowder, yeah. Guys, a lot of people don't realize this, but southeastern Ohio, a little bit of West Virginia, the key supplier of gunpowder for the War of 1812. Yeah. Why? Because our beautiful sandstone hills and all those cool rock outcroppings and overhangs, the saltpeter leaches right out of the rock. You don't have to dig. You just take a pickaxe and you scrape off what you want, and there you go. You're ready to make gunpowder, okay? And, yeah, I had a friend of mine and I, we actually did it one time, and we made gunpowder, which we were shocked. It really did work. Just enough, and it worked for like a month and a half, and we made about this much, enough to put a match in it and watch it go, and it was over. But it was cool. You know, but these resources are all around you guys, and the settlers that came here discovered those very quickly. You know, nowadays, and we talked about this last night at Nelsonville. We did a talk at the Nelsonville Library and a ghost walk through Nelsonville last night, and we talked about this a little bit there, and the fact that there's some big controversy these days. You know, drilling, digging, mining, all these types of things, right? But one of the reasons we're so dependent on some of these resources is because when the folks arrived here, you didn't have to dig for coal. You didn't have to drill for oil. It was sitting right there. Puddles of oil, coal that you could pick up off the ground and throw into your furnace. Yeah, in those days it was everywhere. Yeah, we were never going to run out of that stuff, right? It was all over the place. So this became a fantastic area for them. Now, the way this worked, the iron industry was the big one. And by the way, Wellston had 3 iron furnaces in the heyday. Have you guys been out to Lake Hope and seen the remnants of the furnace there at Lake Hope, the big pyramid out front? 3 of those here in Wellston, guys. One of them basically right downtown by the traffic light there, by the square. And Harvey Wells, we know he definitely had interest in at least one. Most likely he had financial interest in all 3 before it was over with. But he definitely had interest in the one. And what was neat about the guy, he was very brilliant. He saw this coming. He saw this wave coming of the iron industry, the coal industry, and he wanted to get in on that. He also knew that if he played his cards right, it would grow the town, right? But it was hard in those days because the industry was a company-type place. And what I mean by that is when you had an iron furnace, the employees worked there, worked for the company. They were paid with employee script, company script. You guys know what that is? It's not real money. It's kind of like monopoly money the company puts out. You could spend it, but only in the company store, and only on the company house. You get the idea, right? So basically the company owned the town. And Harvey was kind of neat in the fact that he didn't necessarily want that. He wanted Wellston to be a vibrant city and town. And you guys can thank him for that because he fought hard to make sure that this stayed that kind of a place. And he was also, you know, some of the stories about him, he's also a very brilliant mathematician and some different things, and he was very good at those types of things as well. And thinking ahead, what I like to say is, I'll give you a secret where I work, okay? I work for the Park Service. What I like to say is he had the ability to look down the trail and see her on the bend, right? That was his big thing. So he was a pretty amazing guy. But he wanted also folks to know that he was a pretty amazing guy, right? So he lived up high in the big house on the top of the hill, so everybody knew, right? But you know, in time, there's a lot of stories about Harvey Wells. We could go on and on about that, and I don't want to get too carried away with that. But I think the biggest myth I'm going to kind of blow up on you right now, and I hate to do this to you guys, is Harvey Wells jumped out of the window upstairs and committed suicide. I got bad news, guys. He did go out a window, but it wasn't for suicide. Okay. As he got a little older, he developed what was known as consumption. Anybody know what that is nowadays? What it's called? Tuberculosis. Yeah. It was a very wasting disease. There was really not much they could do. They didn't know a lot about it. Matter of fact, at one point, if you got consumption, tuberculosis, they would actually take you down to Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and put you into the cave, thinking that controlled, perfect environment in the cave would fix your lungs. Think about that. Yeah, that's the worst thing you could possibly do for a lung disorder, put you in a cold, dangerous cave. And so there were a lot of problems with that. And it often had very high fevers associated with it and delirium. And I keep stepping in front of it, guys. And this will be running through the night. If you want to come back and look at some of the images when it gets a little darker. Okay, I'll be running as we go tonight. He developed some very high fever, and he developed some delirium, or, you know, referred to as dementia delirium. And in that state of high fever is when he went out from the upstairs window. He didn't die right away. As a matter of fact, he broke an arm, a leg. He had several injuries, and he's a little elderly at this time. And after several days, he passed away from his injuries. Okay. So, yes, he went out a window. Okay. No, he wasn't really committing suicide. Fair enough. You know, but in time, this house after that was owned, as he mentioned, by the Kesslers. How many do we have here tonight? Where are the Kesslers now? We lost them.
There's in the house. I'm here.
You're at one, and the others are inside.
My daughter's here, my granddaughter.
So we have a few.
Two granddaughters of James Edward Kessler.
Okay.
We have a great-granddaughter and a great-granddaughter.
Great. Okay, all right. So a few generations here tonight. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it was in 20 years? A little more than that. How long?
How long they lived here?
Yeah, how long?
I don't live here how long
Okay,
they
I want to say
lived here. I know they
22
purchased the home 8 years after it was vacant, after Harvey Wells died.
Exactly. Okay, good.
My grandmother.
And of course, for a little while, it became a nursing home. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, when you have a nursing home, of course, elderly folks, you're going to have some deaths in here. All of these elements combined, right? A strong personal attachment to this building, to this town, right? Yeah. Deaths that occurred here in the building. And I always laugh because we talk about occasionally the haunted cemetery, right? The lights and the shadows that you can see right here in the cemetery in Wellston. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. There's 500 plus locations. For the most part, Jeanette and I don't think a whole lot of haunted cemeteries. Okay, here's what we know about ghosts and spirits, guys. We're going to get more into that in a second before we start setting you in. Ghosts and spirits are energy, right? Mm-hmm. And they're energy that's left over for whatever reason. And I love it because I've talked to many people. Some people look at it from a purely scientific standpoint. Some folks look at it from a spiritual standpoint. And it's really interesting in different concepts. But everybody pretty much agrees it's leftover energy. We don't know exactly what kind, and we're going to get into that in a minute.
Leftover energy?
What we've discovered through these 500, 600 locations we've gone to is they just want your attention. Now, maybe that's through sound. Banging, talking, voices, screaming. Prospect Place up near the Longenberger Basket Company, right? We were in there. How about growling? Immediately somebody that was there said, "Is that a demon?" I said, "No, that's just probably the owner of the house angry because we're not paying attention to him." Okay? You know, just because you hear strange sounds, etc., doesn't necessarily mean that it's evil. It's trying to get your attention. We've had. I need a helper for a second. You stand up for a second? Yeah, turn around. This was my favorite. 3 different times. Turn around, face guys, right here. We had this on our back. Right? How's that feel? That'd be a little weird, wouldn't it? Yeah. Somebody touching and tickling. sometimes scratches. You know, that I know it seems horrible, but you don't really notice it until after it's over. They're trying to get your attention. Whatever that may be. Maybe they can only use a ball of light. Maybe it's just a dark shadow that they can do. They want your attention. And that's what it's all about. We're giving them the opportunity tonight to let us know they're there. We want to know that they're there. How are we going to do it? Well, inside we've got some equipment set up. And a lot of this stuff I'm going to show you real quick, and then it's going to go inside. You'll get a chance to maybe try a piece or two if you want to. Try out something while you're in there. But you'll definitely get a chance to see this stuff in operation going in there. There's a couple things you need to know about going in the Harvey Wells house. Number one, it's under renovation, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody got that part. You held up the donation jar.
It's not done, that's sure.
Yeah, hold it up real high. Okay, the donation. There's a lot of work about that. But they'll tell you very quickly, it's not cheap and it's not easy. Okay, you'll get a lot of donations. Have you had some of the work and stuff donated? You have, yeah. You'll get a lot of donations, but there's only so much they can do, right? It's not all free. So remember that here this evening when you're walking around. All right, let's talk about how you go ghost hunting. There are different energy ways. You guys, we're going to go back to like middle school, high school, maybe a little elementary school science class. You ready? Look at them. Look at the students are all fidgety. Not really, guys. I'm not going to make you go. Okay. But basically, energy comes in waves, whether that's audio, sound waves, right? Whether that's light waves, radiation, light waves, that type of thing. You know, sound waves, light waves. Maybe it's my brain's going. See how I'm doing tonight? So I've been talking too much. I'm trying to make sure I'm not repeating things to you. Okay. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and pick up these mild energy waves. Now, let's take audio for example. We've already got several recorders running inside, digital recorders. And somebody's going to be walking through tonight with this guy. This is a spirit box. This is a digital recorder on steroids. Okay. This is designed for ghost hunting. What this guy does is not only does it act as a high definition digital recorder, the human ear, guys, hears anywhere from 50 to 100,000 megahertz. That's what we do. If you're good. If you're his age, you hear that high range. Okay. If you're, well, my age or older, you start losing those higher end, right? But we know for a fact that there's much higher waves. The bats, which should be coming out here soon, I bet they are in the belfry, literally, right? Probably, yeah. The bats that should be coming out here soon, upwards of 200,000 megahertz they can hear. Much, much more awesome than anything else. This guy scans all of those. And what you do with the digital recorder by recording that is plain in fact, we can adjust that sound and we can hear wavelengths that we normally wouldn't be able to hear. Now, the Spirit Box takes that to a whole new level. And I'll have headphones on so you guys can listen if you want to. Okay. What this guy does is it not only records, but it also perpetually scans the FM radio waves. Most common, biggest, widest range of audio sound waves out there is the FM band. Spirits can piggyback those and communicate really awesome. Because when you're listening to this guy and you'll hear 96.7, okay? You'll pick up the occasional radio station or whatever in there. But it's like kind of fuzzy. It sounds like somebody's turning the radio dial real fast, right? But when a spirit utilizes those, it goes from 96.7 to, what's your name? Tasha? 96. Hi, Tasha. That clear. Really awesomely done. So we have this in standard digital recorder. Going to be going for sound in there tonight. And I'll get to that in a minute. We're also going to be looking for those light waves. We have a couple of things already set up inside. We have a full spectrum high-def camera set up and running with some special lights, ultraviolet infrared lights. They'll tell you about it when you go up there. You guys can see it, okay? That guy is filming in high-def ultraviolet infrared wavelength. By the way, we don't see well in ultraviolet infrared. We also have a DVR recorder in the main room up front, which we don't know exactly which window he came out of. I heard everybody walking around trying to figure it out earlier. Okay. But when you get inside and start looking around the layout of the house, probably the most dangerous ones are in this front room. So we set up the DVR recorder in those front rooms. And it's got an infrared, full dark infrared camera running at all times to record it. You guys go over and look at the front and you're going to see all kinds of orbs. That is a really big deal. Infrared reflects off of that big time. So you see all these things float into camera lenses and everything else. Yeah, I'll blow it up right now. It's dust that you're looking at. That's what it is. Now, if you see something really bright that comes across, maybe, okay, but most of what you see, don't get overly excited to do that. And especially once we all start to squeeze through, we'll really have some dust. All right. I'll also be using this tonight. This is a full spectrum camera. It photographs in infrared or ultraviolet. And at some point tonight, we always like to do this while we still got the big crowd, rush to put everybody out front. It's great in group shots. Infrared, you always demonic. But we'll also do ultraviolet, which kind of looks black and white. You'll see that upstairs, okay? We'll get a big group shot of everybody. If you get on hauntedhothuman.com or the Facebook page, probably tonight or tomorrow. That's not good. This is Jeanette, guys. When you get on there, you'll be able to see yourself. We'll be using these devices tonight. However, I think like this, if you'd like to know what it's like to be a digital recorder, this is fun to play with. Okay, you put the headphones on, and you can point it at your friends across the road and hear them whispering. Okay, with parabolic microphone, and it kind of gives you a feeling of what the digital recorder is picking up. It's kind of cool. So that's it. We also have one more investigator. This is a really cool device called Obulus X, and it's a spirit box, even more so than the other one. This guy has a built-in, what's called a built-in phonetic library that has its own voice. It also acts as an ear control. Yeah. It actually, we're going to have a bigger speaker upstairs so you can actually hear it talking. Okay. Now the weird thing about this guy is when it's operating, I've already that's not. When you first turn it on, it runs to its own library, and I turned it off of that as soon as I turned it on. So this is not it running to its own library. Sorry, mild pause, Jeanette. No, it's done. There you go, guys. How's that? Okay, yeah. That's a good one. Now, the nice thing about this is it also has this guy right here. If you can't understand, it can pick it up, it will actually write it out. But no matter if it's boy, girl, adult, mother, it's all that computer. Okay, that's the kind of downside of this. You don't get that eerie sound of a small child crying. It'll sound like a computer crying. Okay, yeah. That's the downside. Okay, now we thought it might be fun. That'll be up there. You guys will get to hear that. A little bit louder speaker operating up in the top. We're going to do a couple more here real quick. And one of the things that we're going to be using off and on, a lot of you guys will be using tonight, and we'll have them set up there, are EMS detectors. Anybody know what that is? There you go, electromagnetic fields. There you go, yeah. Electromagnetic fields. Guys, you are surrounded by electromagnetic fields right now. As a matter of fact, your body acts like a magnet to them. You draw them in. You feel it? Okay, yeah. Now, I love this one. I'm a big history buff. Shannon was talking about that, but especially genetics too. Big in history. And because of that, I like to do research about ghost hunting because, guys, we weren't the first, right? They've been ghost hunting for centuries. Right? There were men with them burned at the stake as ghost hunters. They thought they were witches and warlocks. They were ghost hunters. They were looking for spirits. And the earliest ghost hunting tool I have to have it with me. Yeah?
Oh, no, that's quartz.
It's a crystal on a string or a chain. Can I borrow you? Yep, right here. Okay. Now, the way this guy works is when you get into a strong magnetic field, it will react. Remember I said your body concentrates them? Right up to the ground, right through Jonah. Right through Jonah, right? So when I get over top of him with the crystal, watch what it does. I'm going to hold it as steady as I can. Isn't that wild? Now the cool thing is we have the ability to do this even, Jonah, you are very magnetic. Yeah. Even after death, we have the ability to affect the EMS field. 10 years or two later, folks even got better at it. They started using these things. What are these? Anybody know? No, they're coat hangers. No, but they're made out of guys. You can make your own, okay? And basically, what you do is you hold them out. Don't put your thumbs on them. That stops them from moving, right? Hold them out like so. So they have pretty much nice and level. You don't want it up or down. And when you get over a magnetic or into a magnetic field, isn't that cool? I told you it was magnetic. I don't even think it's that close to it. You step off and it opens. We have a few of these guys. If you want to walk through the house with them a little bit while you're going, you can try it out. Okay. In those days, witches were lost, right? Nowadays, we know it's science. Okay, that's what's going on. It really works. Now, thank you, Johnny. You're awesome. All right. Okay, now, we have some more modern EMS detectors that will have an operation. Bring a couple of them out real quick, and then we're going to get started. I want to start getting some folks into the house. All right. These are two different types. Everybody loves this guy because you hold the sensor out and wake up like so. This is what picks up the EMF field. Don't get too close to your body. Why? Pick it up. Or your body can, or your cell phone, or your cameras, or anything like that can sense a K2 meter. You get it too close to a K2 meter, they will go off. Okay? Now. Or vice versa. I've had K2 meters set on cell phones. Okay, yeah. But when you turn it on, this is what everybody loves. If you hit a magnetic field, a strong magnetic field, that's why everybody loves this one. You ready? And I get all excited, okay, because it lights up and makes a little noise. Okay. Now, at any point tonight, if you hit something, if you're, messing with a piece of equipment, you hit something, make sure you let one of us know right away, because what we want to do is photograph you, video you where you are. There's something going on around you, right? K2 meters, probably the most sensitive, or one of the most sensitive of the magnetic field meters, but also one of the most interesting to use, because you have to hold the button down and keep it. And after a while, your thumb begins to cramp up. Okay. These guys were built, anybody know what they're built for? Scientifically, what they're built for? Wiring, things like that, yeah. Anybody from the fire department here tonight? Yeah, okay. You got K2 meters in the yeah. You got to go look for the hot spots in the walls and sensors. I'll show you where those leaks are. That's the problem in a place like this that's under construction and being rebuilt, right? You're going to have a lot of so if something goes off, don't get too excited. Make sure you look around and say, oh, gosh, I'm standing next to this outlet they're working on. It's going to be releasing EMF fields, so be aware of that. All right, so we got a lot of stuff going on here. And what we're going to do tonight, guys, the Harvey Wells house is under construction. So, here's the disclaimer part. Caution, 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 okay? Do not use the handrail, or you could end up taking it with you by accident. Yeah. Don't use the handrail. We got some lights. You can light your way up there. Downstairs is pretty well lit up. All right, guys, we got lights going, etc. When you go upstairs, the lights go down. What we're trying to show you is you don't have to be in total darkness to go something. You absolutely don't. Okay? Spirits don't care if it's night or day. They don't. So, when you're downstairs, we're going to be running some things. The lights on. You're upstairs. The darkness does help with low energy levels. If it's low light, it helps with that. And what's funny, too, is you go up the darkness. So it's by accident, it helps with that too, when you're doing the audio. So, here's what we want to do. I'm going to stay down now. Is that right? That was they're talking kids, I can tell. Okay, guys, let me do this real quick, and then we'll get started. You may have noticed that sitting up front. Yes, Jeanette and I have written 5 books on the ghost stories. Most of the stuff is around, but all of Ohio in the last year especially. We do have an all-Columbus edition if you're interested. Okay. All these different locations, and I have to give credit where credit is due, the majority of the historical research. Yeah, Jeanette. There we go, yes. A lot of background work, guys. We've got to find the history of the house like we did tonight. Is it possible, right? Could there be spirits? And then we go from there. You have to do a lot of work in records, Ancestry.com, birth records, death records, cemetery records, you name it, all that stuff that's Jeanette does an awful lot of that, takes care of that work. But we do have the books here tonight, guys. I'll tell you that now. So as you're coming and going, if you're interested, we always do a show special. If you want 1 $15 or 2 for $25. How's that? If you like to take a look, you can. We'd love that, but please don't forget to donate to the Harvey Wells house tonight. And like I said, what we're going to do, if you guys want to come grab here, take what you want. That sounds bad. It was do not do
don't know, it was working.
It was working, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I swear I wasn't spitting nothing. That's anything. Sorry. Going for this. Oh,
Hey, they've been checking over there, and it is. Yeah, you can get back.
talk to it.
Yeah, wait.
Like, ask if they turn right.
It is kind of small up there. Now, there is a bigger room above this one.
Yeah, you can walk in.
Hey, what did you guys say you got a picture of a ghost or not? You guys say you got a picture of a ghost?
Okay, hold it out front. Now ask it, hold it straight. Hold it straight. Behind it. Now ask it to spin.
Yeah, and this one was like this, you can't really tell the difference now, but yeah, I'm gonna put it in. No, watch. I want to do this. I want to like put it in my hand.
That is what he thinks.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out here.
I'll do there.
Remember I told you your hat was
You like the fact that they're restoring this house. We got an answer.
These over here was his room, we believe, and then over here was Harvey Wells' room.
This is the bedroom.
This is the bedroom, and you have been right about the windows.
Can we go in here?
Fell out the window. More likely one of those, possibly.
No, I think he came out of this room.
Yeah, because this was the bedroom.
It's one of those rooms, I bet. Windows. Can we look at the old wallpaper? I bet you anything this was the room.
You could
I don't know if that looks like dust or not.
I don't know.
Because it kind of...
There's several of them. You take one, see what you get.
Oh, you're fine.
You see the screen there? That's mostly dust, but the camera is actually looking in several fields you can't see with your eyes. It's infrared and a bunch of other ones. So what we look for when we go back and watch the videos is to see if anything moves. We look for shadows or distortion. That camera can pick those things up and our eyes wouldn't be able to. So it's not just able to see in the dark.
That's where the
It's
pipes
a lot of
probably
other things.
come up. There's things in front of us and you can't go where.
And on big investigations, we have the ability to set up a board.
You should go upstairs when other people come up, okay?
If you guys have any questions to ask the audience, see if we get a response. We're more than welcome to. So far, we haven't got one.
All right, turn around and smile down here, guys. Get a picture. There we go. Got it.
Can we come back up later?
And a lot of people are waiting outside, so we need to give them a chance to come up.
Are you here, Harvey Wells? Is that you that people saw taping in front of the window?
Are you? Well, you're not going to fall.
Were you sick when you died?
Right here. Is that okay?
Don't say that.
You guys have any questions?
I think so, yeah.
The dark in the room? The dark in the room?
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
You can turn your light. If you feel uncomfortable, you can turn your sunlight on.
Yeah, that's right. One center here. Makes sense, right? I can't really swear it's trying to go forward, but trying to off for cancer now.
Because the original wallpaper's still on.
Here, as long as it's over here, they can. Here.
I think there's just too many people here to get any real good stuff that you can say is for certain paranormal or not, because there's too much noise from people, you know.
The camera is actually right
I don't know, it's weird because some of the pictures have that stuff in it and others don't, so that's perfectly clear. Yeah, see, mine were perfectly clear.
Yeah, that one there's black.
Now the one where...
You're all right. I'm right here with